Welcome, everyone, to the second annual Global Goddess Fest, week-long virtual festival to inspire, activate, and connect female leaders, entrepreneurs, and creatives worldwide. Thank you for joining us today. And today, our guest is Tanya Lynn. I'm so excited to have Tanya. Tanya has been a personal mentor of mine and just a big inspiration as I've stepped into my own leadership. So I'm really excited to have her come and share little pieces of her magic with you all. So she's the founder of Sisterhood Circle, and she's a strategic activator. She's really gifted at coaching women to just reach their new heights and figure out the plans and the organization and the strategy to really utilize their talents and strengths and take that next bold step forward. So Tanya is just an amazing, amazing woman. Her energy is super bright and also just super direct and on point. She's the visionary CEO behind the international organization Sisterhood Circle, which is a worldwide sisterhood and movement, all geared around empowering women to step into their beauty, their brilliance, and their boldness as feminine leaders. So she has a proven 12-week circle program based on her best-selling book, The Open Your Heart, How to Be a New Generation Feminine Leader. And she's also the author of How to Lead Circle. So she's just created programs for women, sisterhoods. Yeah, there's the book right there. And she's just such a respected leader in our community, both in California and also worldwide. So I'm just so thankful for you to be here today. And yeah, thank you so much. I mean, everyone that's watching, you're going to be learning so much. As you just heard from, her little bio, some of the amazing things that Tanya's been up to in the last years of creating this beautiful, empowering empire. So thanks for being here.
Well, thank you, Rae. And just to show everyone, here's my book, Open Your Heart. This is actually the second edition. And what I wanted to talk about today and what I feel like is such an important piece to this topic of spirit and inspiration and creativity is really like the driving force behind this book and everything that I do. It is like the word. If I was to give you a word, a theme of like what has really created so much space for creativity in my life, in my business, and has really been the driving force of inspiration, it is this thing. And that is called co-creation. And I actually call it co-creative leadership. Of co-creative leadership, of a new model of how we should be leading in the world that will really create a new world. And it's really, really inspiring when we can tap into the essence of what co-creation really is. What is this new model of co-creative leadership? And so yeah, that's what I'm excited to share with all of you, and to really have that be a framework, and even part of the fabric and the context for everything else that you're going to learn in this amazing Goddess Fest that Rae's putting on. So, because really, truly, it is, this entire Global Goddess Fest is a co-creation. And Rae is actually embodying co-creative leadership by bringing all of us into this, so that we can weave our magic together and really inspire the world, us women coming together.
Thank you. Yeah, and I think it's the ability to join together, and especially in person, but then also we have now technology that can bring us together even while being in different countries, which is incredible. And so this is one example of what co-creative leadership can look like, is the Global Goddess Fest that you are all participating in right now. And so Tanya, maybe we could give them another example of what co-creative leadership looks like.
Yeah, so let me start with a story of how this word even came to me and how it's evolved from the very first time that I started diving into it, which was back in 2011. It's been quite a while that I've been working with this energy of co-creation and co-creative leadership. And when I was first doing my work, it was called Tribal Truth. And back then with Tribal Truth, I started in 2010. I would pop around all these different cities and I would create these tribes, and I would do this launch event, and then I'd bring all these women together. And so through the process of bringing all these women together, what I found, actually, it was my dear friend Kara Cadwallader, who is a sister here in San Diego. She came in and she was going to be our San Diego tribe leader. And she said to me, I feel like you're just kind of controlling me and bossing me around. Where's my piece in all this? Like, where's the co-creation? And so it was actually at an event, our first event that we did together. And I literally ripped up my agenda at this event. And I said, all right, so Kara's kind of called me out on this, and we're going to try something new. We're ripping up our agenda, and whoever is here in this room, we are going to co-create together. That's what we're going to learn how to do. We're going to each bring forth our medicine, bring forth our magic, and what can we create together? We don't know. It's a mystery, right? And so what I learned from that experience was, number one, it was super powerful when you drop your individual agenda and you really bring forth the energy of everyone. But what I like to think of it as a wheel. Co-creative leadership is that we are each a spoke on the wheel. And in order for the wheel to really turn and to go forward, we each have to hold our part, right? If my spoke breaks, and I'm not really owning that I am a contributing factor of this wheel, then the wheel's not really going to turn, right? So we each have to look at, what are my individual gifts, strengths, abilities? What do I bring to the wheel? And that mine may be completely different from Rae's, may be completely different from the other woman, right? And so it's to really start celebrating what I bring to the table. What are my gifts? What is my part? And that this actually frees me up, that I don't have to be doing everything anymore. Now I can really celebrate and bring forth what I'm good at. And then Rae's bringing something completely different, and I can celebrate what she's bringing. And now we're stronger because we brought together our gifts. And we can each kind of really focus on our part versus trying to be all of it for everyone. And so that is, first of all, a really freeing concept, but also allows me to now tap into my creativity, my gifts. Like, okay, what is it that brings me alive? What's my passion? And so I get to focus on really sourcing myself from a higher power. And so that's really where co-creation and co-creative leadership starts, is your connection with spirit. You co-creating first with the divine. And you getting that divine power is within you, right? It's not separate. It's not over there, but that the spirit is within you. You are co-creating with a power that's so much greater than yourself, but it is within you. And so a lot of spirituality is teaching us in the world, like the patriarchal society teaches us, that God is outside of you, right? So therefore you don't have the authority, you don't have the power. And so you need to be bowing down to this God that's not even like connected with you. So there's this constant feeling of separation and disconnect. But what if that power is actually within you? That God Goddess actually resides within you, and that spirit is within you. It's not something outside of yourself. This is like the source. This is the seed for me of my creativity, is understanding that I don't need to go out there. It's all within me. Can I now tap into spirit? And from that place of like, what lights me up? What's that spark? I then have something that comes up as like inspiration within me. And now I'm lit up and I'm excited, and now I can bring that forward into the wheel. And so everything that we started doing within Tribal Truth was within this co-creative model where everyone, it was never just one person leading. It was constantly like two women pairing up and leading, the whole tribe leading. And so everything that I've started to do has come from this. And so two things then happen. One is by me first co-creating with Spirit and finding my source of inspiration and allowing my creativity to flow. All kinds of, like, I got told, I am blown away by the amount of content that I have created over the years. And I didn't even realize how much content I've created until my husband started like actually reflecting this to me. And he's like, you have content coming out of your yin yang. Like, he's just like, you have so much freaking content. And now he's like trying to piece it together. But it's because I have really tapped into what are my gifts, what are my strengths, and what is my connection with Spirit, right? And also, I've been in so much co-creation with others. And so much of that content is actually not even mine necessarily, but it belongs to the collective sistership circle because we've all been playing together and bringing all of our gifts together, creating something that sometimes is so much more magnificent than what I could create by myself, which then feeds my creativity even more and creates more inspiration because I'm getting so juiced up and energized from all the women who are around me. And that wheel, again, I'm feeling that collective, that I'm part of this collective. I'm part of something greater than myself as part of this wheel. So, I mean, for us to start thinking this way, so if you're feeling stuck of like, oh, I'm not creative enough, right? Okay, well, what is, and I could lead you through a little thing to kind of connect with that. But, you know, what is it that lights me up and what am I inspired by and what's my gifts? And to start to have those conversations. And if you don't know, you can start asking the women around you to reflect to you. And this is the power of sisterhood. This is why, you know, we're coming together as a collective with this Goddess Fest. You have other women who you can start to play with, who you can start to co-create with, and who can start to reflect back to you what your brilliance is. So how cool is that? To start interviewing, if you don't know what your gifts are, you don't know what your strengths, start interviewing the women around you. And they will tell you, and you will start to be reminded of who you are and what you bring to the table. So it's really just so much magic available for us. And to really look at like the Goddess Fest as an opportunity for you to start to connect with other like-minded women, not just for yourself, but for the sisterhood. I think that's really important. So I'll stop for a second. Rae, anything you want to add or?
Yeah, I love it. And I think that the process of questioning is so important. And, you know, even if you feel like you know what your gifts are, continuing to question, okay, what did yesterday teach me? What can I step into even more? And be able to utilize the sisters that are around to reflect that. It's so easy to have a sister sitting next to you and to just be like, you're amazing, you're beautiful, you're smart, your niche is this. And, you know, it's really so simple. And then we look at ourselves and it gets all confused because it's so close to us. So being able to step into that space where everyone is really supporting each other, being that wheel is just so powerful. And I think there's definitely a hint of some old wounds that show up when you step into that space of jealousy, of competition, of what is mine, what is hers, and the separateness of feeling individual. So I think there is kind of this fine line that we're dancing on in today's world of stepping out of those old wounds and into this space of, all right, well, let's come together, let's celebrate our uniqueness, and then feel the whole community that we can create together.
You know, something really important I think is coming is that these old wounds of competition, jealousy, right? And the old sisterhood wounds of, you know, I can't share with anyone what I'm doing because they might steal it. And, you know, and just this comparison that we're always in with other women. When we step into true co-creative leadership and we step into that wheel and get that we are a spoke on the wheel, and we see really truly that we are working together, there is no competition. even if a woman is another spoke in the wheel who is seemingly doing the exact same thing as you, she's not. She's doing it her way, with her essence, with her medicine. And that each of us truly are unique snowflakes. No snowflake is alike. And so to really honor yourself and what you bring and the medicine that you have. And so I'll take you through a quick little exercise of what is that? Even if you know, it might still open up something for you. But that we shift from competition to celebration. Celebrating ourselves, celebrating our sisters, and all that we all bring to the table. And when we are in that state of celebration, then that's when the creativity flows, right? And that's when we can truly allow ourselves to be our full self-expression, because we're not worried about dimming our light so that, someone else doesn't feel less than us, or the other way around, we're feeling less than because someone, it's like, if we're all just in the spirit of co-creation and celebration, then we can all just be shining brightly together, lighting up the world in a bigger way. So here's the practice that I love to do, is to dive into a defining moment and a story that you can remember about yourself. And what is, and I like to look at this from a couple different lenses, is it could be a story of a time when you were, when you had like a really massive breakthrough in your life. Or it could be a story, a defining moment as in a real painful part of your life. Because there's so many gifts and so much of our power actually comes from our pain. And a lot of time, and this is the power of circle, is that we can no longer feel like we should be shameful of the painful past that we've had, but we could start to dive into it. And from actually finding that painful part of your past and looking at that moment and starting to shift the script around it of, wow, yeah, but what are all the gifts that came from this? And how did that create my strength today? So if you can look at and create and think for yourself of an obstacle or something very painful that you've overcome in your life, and start to look at it and start to look at like, well, who were you being when you overcame that? And what are some of the gifts that have come from this situation? And actually, how did that make you who you are today? And what are some of your strengths from that? Then we can start to come up with what those things are that make you who you are, the brilliance of you, the essence of you that makes you different. When Rae introduced me, I was, strategic activator. That is a big part of my essence, is that I'm very, very, I'm very direct. I can see things very strategically, and I'm an activator. I create action from things. And so if I actually look at, from my past, I'm just trying to think of an example here. And it does come from a pain. So if I look at that, I've always activated community. I've always been a tribe builder ever since I was a little kid. And I can remember some very specific moments of where I felt left out, or where I felt made fun of or shamed on the playground. And I didn't want to feel that way, but more so I didn't want anyone else to feel that way. I didn't want others to be bullied, right? And so and there's one particular one that I can very crystal clear remember, and making that decision of, nope, not going to have that happen anymore. And how embarrassed I was for being shamed by another little girl on the playground, right? Who's bossing me around. But that moment I made that decision, and I stepped into my power and my strength as a community builder, as a tribe builder. And also the activator of I'm going to kind of stand up for the underdog in a way. And I'm going to create that space for everyone to feel like they're included and that they belong. And that has been a big part of who I am and my strength and my gifts, right? So, and it comes again from that pain point of those moments when I felt like I didn't belong. So what's yours? And maybe this is something we could share in the Facebook group to start to look at, what are the gifts? What are you bringing to the table? What are you bringing to the wheel? What makes you the unique spoke, the unique snowflake that you are? And once you are tapped into that, then we can start to open up the inspiration and the creativity to flow.
Yeah, I really think it all just starts flowing once you can pinpoint this one initiation almost. And then from there, then it's like the door's open. Okay, now what other players do I need to co-create what I'm really envisioning, and being able to start activating others in the way that you activate yourself. So it's such a great exercise. Thank you for sharing that, Tanya.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, well, so thank you so much for being here and sharing about co-creative leadership. I think I really hope that the women that are watching this are taking notes and thinking about, okay, how can they incorporate more women into what they're doing, or more men as well. It's a joint effort in creating this union of harmony. So everyone that's watching, Tanya is giving away a goddess ritual guidebook. So the link will be right below this video, and it's an amazing guidebook to discover the goddess rituals from this curated group of 25, even more feminine leaders, and what are these goddess rituals that they use in their daily lives to create more abundance, space, clarity, and capacity to lead. So this is a perfect example of what co-creative leadership looks like. And then anyone that is interested in downloading the full festival, she is also giving a second gift of the How to Lead Circle ebook. And this ebook is amazing. It's seriously life-changing. The questions, the strategies that she used to share and get you thinking outside of the box and get you going into some places that maybe you wouldn't normally be going into, asking yourself some questions that might feel uncomfortable. It's just such an activating book. So I'm excited for everyone that's going to be able to utilize that. And did you want to say anything else about those, or any last messages?
Yeah, I mean, about the ebook, if you are thinking about leading Circle or you wanting to become a better facilitator, this is definitely for you. It's a really powerful book. I go into depth into some of these concepts. It's over 50 pages. It's not just some wimpy little ebook. It's like a full-on book. So yeah, I would love to have all of you check out these additional resources. I think they definitely complement what we're doing here at Goddess Fest.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Tanya. Thank you to everyone that tuned in today and watched. Feel free to step into everything that you're learning, discovering throughout the rest of this festival. And we wish you all the luck. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you.